think I finally set this thing up correctly for the first time ever. Let me just double check my tape. Yep, I did it right. Man, eyes are learning. You understand? I know how to learn. Yeah, so I heard the evil twin brother Esau was going on tour. The Great Topology Tour to black people. You understand? You gotta excuse me, I just ate a bowl of cereal. You know how we do in the hood? We love cereal. So we're gonna talk about reparations. We continue to win, and the only possible reason that reparations hasn't come down the pipe yet, and why HR 40 has not become a law yet, is because they keep distracting you by killing you. And so if you stay diligent and keep your head on swivel and move on code correctly, you won't die. See, they caught me slipping at the beginning of this year, and I thought my brother was my brother. But you know, money answers everything according to the Bible. So when somebody offers a dumb white supremacist with a black face money, they will do anything for that money. And that's obvious in all facets of life, every situation of life. But we're going to talk about reparations because that's the only conversation that needs to be talked about. I must correct myself, and you must excuse me for that seriously stupid statement that I just made. I meant to say that reparations is the only solidified it is the only solution to white supremacy. That's about the best I can put it. You understand? I don't have extreme, perfect verbal language. I'm a great writer. I used to get A's all in school in English every single year. My English teachers used to adore me, man. They used to invite me after class and want to talk to me about these writings and what I meant by certain things. And they were learning. You understand? So I taught my teachers. But you gotta excuse me. That's my favorite game right now. That's how that works. But I'm gonna share my screen, as the Jordans say, right? And upon sharing my screen, where's the Zoom at? Here we go, right here. Upon sharing my screen, you're gonna learn today. Okay? There ain't nothing else to talk about. It's the only solution to white supremacy is to reclaim our properties. At least a very minuscule portion of it. You understand? So We can work on getting the rest later. But right now, while the iron is hot, you ever heard of striking while the iron is hot? So you don't get distracted by you shouldn't get distracted by when a psychotic police officer goes and kills a psychotic black clown. I don't give a fuck how you feel about it. They are serious. Merely, it's a technique to distract you because they realize that their time is soon at an end. Like General Your Honey Bear always says. And so we got to understand that they're trying to be certain that we do not receive what they owe us. So they got black clowns surrounding y'all asses everywhere that you don't even notice ever, discrediting their our claim for our inheritance. You see? That's all they do all day long. My name stays in people's mouths because I'm the most prolific leader in the community. And that's all I do is just lead. And I lead by example. So I ignore, I get caught up in the conversations and get triggered, emotionally triggered. I'm working on that. I got a extremely wonderful trainer in that regard, where in this trainer by the name of the boss, right? This brother, all he does every day is say things correctly, and that is it's so frustrating to try to have to learn that type of speech. So I'm gonna be me until I perfect it, and I get emotionally triggered, and that's just how things work because all life has emotion, and since I have eternal life, then I have eternal emotions. That's right. That's how I say that correctly. See, I'm training myself to speak correctly. Now let me get over here and try to figure out how to change my name right quick. Let me stop sharing this so I can change my name here, because I don't want you to see my real name. That's my government name. And you don't need to know my government name. Okay, I can't figure out how to change my name, so I give up. All right, I see how fast I give up. That's fine. The final case in sentencing for reparations. I got a debate Saturday with a tanker, our beloved brother, Orthodox Moore. Smart guy, very eloquent, and very kind. Man. Now, but when you're wrong, you're wrong. And all I did was share my information with my fellow tankers because they seem to never pay attention to my page and have never seen anything that I've ever taught. That's fine. You are permitted to remain ignorant, as the New Testament says. But there's a couple of things in the New Testament that must be understood. Waterman! Hold up. I gotta move this stuff out of the way so I can share the link with my big bro Waterman over there. Let's see what we got here. More chat participants. Invite. Okay. Copy the link and then place it into the chat. In just a second, as soon as I figure out how to do this. All right. Okay, now we don't have our special guest Waterman on here, but until then, I got to get back to teaching, bro. So you got to excuse me. All right, so I heard that you were going on tour. You're going on an apology tour, just like Nick Cannon went on an apology tour, and they got extorted. Nick Cannon got extorted. So here's what I'm going to do to offer you a little bit of solace here. Vocabulary Melon and Rolando Martin. Okay, both of you, dear brothers, right? This is what you must do. Okay. All right. So I'm going to put this. Where I'm going to put this at? Edit the video. That might be a good idea. Let's edit the video. I'm going to place, I really don't need to place it here, but I'll do it anyway. Okay, so I'm going to place my Cash App in the video description. Okay, right there. And then I'm going to save it. Where am I going to save it? Okay, so I'm going to place this into the proper folder, right? Agendas on trial. You understand? So I got one of the most perfect agendas that you could possibly imagine. Corruptible retribution, that's a good word to use. Incorruptible redress is a better word to use. Incorruptible redress is a better phrase. So now how do I save this joker? Nope, it's not made for kids because I cuss way too much. So now we have to save it some kind of way. It's got to be possible. There it is. Save. All right. Now that's saved, and let's get back to the. Make sure I can see the Cadillac Coupe de Ville, right? Oops, I hit the wrong back button. Now we're back in the Cadillac Coupe, and we in here. So now this is how we're gonna address this information with the apology tour, right? All right. So there's a number of things that need to happen. You need to go to Cash App Solar Mind. I think that's what it's called. Cash App Solar Mind. I hope I got that right. You need to Cash App him $1,000. Vocabulary Melon and Rolando Martini. You two people should know who I'm talking to because your names are very similar to the names that you have earned. Vocabulary Melon and Rolando Martini. You two niggas need to donate to our causes. Just as they encouraged Nick Cannon to donate $10,000 to a Holocaust hoax museum. Okay, stuff don't even exist. But he donated $10,000. Anyway, it was just mere super chump change, super duper. So they gave him a slap on the wrist. It was just a warning. And that's why he made that ominous message saying that a very ominous message saying that, oh, enjoy Earth. Yeah, because they were going to kill him. You know, they were going to kill him. So they made him write a suicide note on Twitter. But they decided not to, and decided to do it another way. So that's how that ended up happening. Just to give you a little background information about how Nick Cannon ended up paying $10,000 to the Holocaust Host Museum. Now, the reason I know $10,000 is nothing but a penny and a slap on the wrist is because my eyes have seen these things. I used to live inside of a strip club, multiple, every strip club. I used to live inside of every single strip club, right? And all of my friends are what we describe as hood rich. Some make $100,000 a month. Some make $1 million a month. That's what we call hood rich. So the ones who make $1 million a month and the ones who make $100,000 a month, they too live inside of every strip club. When they go to these strip clubs, they take with them, on a light day, they take with them what we call 50 racks. Racks is a nickname for thousands of dollars. So they would take 50 thousands of dollars to the club. They would stack it on the stage, and then they would make it, we call it make it rain. You understand? That's why Tucci says, because he understands how real we are. And he has a squad that lives in Fayetteville. I don't know why, but they do. So, I guess, there's just a little connection there to whatever they do. So, you got to understand that whenever people that are hood rich go to the strip club and they make it rain, it's no less than $50,000. If you don't throw $50,000, you're not making it rain. You're just giving a light little drizzle. You see? If you throw $1,000 in the strip club, you're making it drizzle. Ain't nobody trying to see that. But if you want to make it rain, you take 50 racks with you to the strip club. I've seen this hundreds of times. That's because I know the people who are hood rich. That's why I'm still alive. You see, earlier this year, somebody tried to kill me. They paid my brother that I thought that was my brother. And that brother accepted the challenge and took the money. I'm pretty sure he gave it directly straight back because he failed. I'm still alive. And like your boy Tay Rock says, I am alive. I like that line very much. But his line came well before the 14th assassination attempt on my life. Now, this is why I seem stressed sometimes when I speak, and I seem sensitive. But it's just when you perfectly calibrate something, then of course it becomes very sensitive to any type of alterations to the perfect calibration of it. Because when it's perfectly calibrated and it is disturbed, it will show that it's disturbed. It shows it. Like say, for example, EKG. What is it called? Not an EKG. I'm not talking about heart stuff. I'm talking about the little uh, instrument that can detect earthquakes. Whatever that instrument is, a seismograph or something, right? It's very sensitive. So whenever there's any tremblings or any disturbance, it will show on the seismograph. Same with the lie detector. Lie detector takes your regular pulses and figures out exactly how your body system reacts to things. And then they say, oh, well, this is normal because it's just normal. His body didn't react at all. But it's finely calibrated to your body's reactions. So when your body reacts differently, because you're about to tell an uncomfortable truth, then it shows in the test. You understand? It also shows when you, I suppose, probably 20% of the time, it might show when you're about to lie. So they don't call it lying; they call it deceptive. So we can make the argument that he's being deceptive. This is why lie detectors are not respected in courts, because they're not humans, and they don't know when you're lying. They don't know when you're being deceptive at all. So my point is that vocabulary melon, okay. I know you're not going to see this because you're retarded, but I'm going to make sure to try to put it in your face so that you do see this. And then what I need you to do is to go here to this site here, okay? It's called Black Redeem. First, I need you to donate $1,000 to Solo Mine on this Cash App. Secondly, this is the second maneuver that you need to do. You need to go here, and you need to press this donate button here. This donate button will then take you to my Cash App. Oh, just excuse my government name here. Just ignore that. You don't want to go there. And then what you want to do is that you want to put this in your phone, Black Redeem Me, in your Cash App. After you place that into your Cash App, no. I'm giving you the wrong steps. The first thing you need to do is open your Cash App. When you open your Cash App, you need to type in $10,000. Vocabulary Melon and Rolando Martini, both of you must at this very moment, the moment that you hear me speaking, is to type in $10,000 into your Cash App. You press pay. When you press pay, it's going to say, pay whom? And then that's when you place this information into your Cash App so they can find and locate my government name. When you find and locate my government name, you click that's whom. Put it in there. After you place those two things in there, $10,000 in my government name, then I want you to hit pay. Once you hit pay, I'm going to show you what you're donating to. You're donating to the Black Holocaust, just as uh, Nick Cannon donated to the Jewisher, those who wish they were Jews and are not. He donated 10 bands. Again, bands means it's a synonym of racks. You got to excuse me. I'm black. And just like Nick Cannon donated 10 racks or $10,000, 10 thousands of dollars to the Holocaust Hoax Museum on behalf of the Jewishers. And it went through. The check didn't bounce at all. He donated $10,000 to that museum. Okay, so that's what he did. My neighbors are having too much fun. They're laughing very loudly. So that's great. So now, that's what I need you two to do. Rolando Martini and Vocabulary Melon. Go into your Cash Apps now and donate $10,000 to the Black Holocaust. Now, this is not a hoax. No. There's too much information on this. And there's an orgy of evidence. There's smoking guns everywhere. So it's evident to mature people, meaning racist white people, that they're eventually going to have to redress the problems that black people face on a daily basis throughout the country. You understand? So that's just a clear fact. Now, after you donate that, then you may click off of here. Don't even attempt to hack it. It's already secure. You see the lock on that thing right there? See? Click this. Connection is secure. You see that? Yeah. It's secure. Very secure. So don't even attempt to hack it there, brother Vocabulary Melon and Rolando Martini. I know you wouldn't even try to do that, Rolando Martini, because you're black. But Vocabulary Melon, he's not. And he would definitely attempt to do that. Because I know black people that would attempt to do that. And they hacked my phone while they were trying to kill me. So, this is not a black or white thing. I have the similar issues with black people where they try to assassinate me all the time. Not one time, never in my life have I almost been assassinated by a white person. Never happened. All 14 times were black people. So, I don't have an issue with that particular situation, but it's just these white supremacist conversations that we have that annoys me, right? We talk about sports 24 hours a day. Sports is nothing but white supremacy personified, and that's all that is. The only thing they do in sports is take away our defenses, you see. So they pay them, the people who have the natural body modifications. I mean, the natural inherited physical traits to become a physically powerful person, right? So they redirect that energy into uh, sports, right? For years, they might start off at 9 years old, 10 years old in the little league, and little league basketball and all this, little league tennis, and 9 to, and they just spend their whole life in sports, so that nobody ever considers defending our people. Nobody with the physical uh, capabilities would. But see, they always forget the guy with the brains. That's a good thing. So they noticed that I had the brains, and they've attempted to kill me at least 14 times. I lose count sometimes. It's just don't care. You understand? So I got my homie Pitt. He's doing 25 years uh, for 25 bodies. So they could never catch him on any of the bodies, and then they caught him up on a technicality of one body, and then the judge gave him 25 years for the other 24 bodies that they couldn't catch him on. You see? So I understand how all this stuff works very clearly. I understand the law way better than every lawyer in existence. So that's kind of what annoys me about the little immature team that I'm on, right? They like to say stuff like, watch what you say. Nigga, I know what I'm saying. That's I train my brain to always say things legal. My only problem is I haven't trained my mouth to always say things in the optimal, respectful way. So that causes problems everywhere. So that's the extreme advantage of an Islamite. Anyone in Islam, they train and discipline their mouth to never offend anybody. That's an extreme advantage that an Islamite has over other people. But I'm working on it because the Bible alludes to similar. The exact behavior, really, to be honest with you. But perfection only comes by way of practicing that perfection, right? Right. So the more you try to practice, the better and better you get at it. You understand? So now, what I want to talk about in this particular reparations discussion tone is the final case and sentencing for reparations. So if you stop playing with me, you would know, but you don't. So I'm going to read it for you. The final case and sentencing for reparations. All right, hold on. Let me see if Waterman made it in here. Don't I got the doorbell on? Let me just do a quick check here. Okay, good. Waterman did not come in here. Good. That's good. So now let me share my screen again, as the Jordans say. And we're going to go back here. Now, this is the final case and sentencing for reparations. The redress is on the way. You remember that time that I was in my kitchen in the house that I used to live in before they tried to kill me? And I was dancing and shucking and jiving for my people. But I was not shucking and jiving for the white man. Remember I said that? Okay. Well, just a little while ago, the Most High gave me a major promotion. He gave me a major promotion because that's who I work for every day. Every day. And so the promotion was giving me the absolute solution to the problem, the financial uh, component that Americans cannot figure out about reparations. So the reason we don't have reparations so far is because they can't ever figure out of how to pay for it. I mean, I had been studying it all this time and didn't realize it until the Most High flipped the switch, turned the light on, just came in my body, turned the light on. Now I can see. Thanks, Most High. So now he showed me that the thing that I had been studying all this time, that I had been preserving strictly for repentant Israelites, repentant Messianic Israelites, the only woke people on the planet, should be allotted to the sleep Israelites as well, the people who don't know that they're Israelites. That includes the Moors, that includes the homosexuals, that includes the Islamites, that includes the atheists, any victim of slavery and the Native American Holocaust. You understand? So that's how I'm expecting this to be perfectly successful. The reason I know it's going to be perfectly successful is because I've been studying it a long time. And so now that the iron has heated up to a particular degree, you see, it will be easy for people to gravitate to this. But as any legislation has shown, that it takes the people influencing the politicians to make a decree happen. So that's not me saving anybody. Understand? Only the people can save themselves. You see? The people have to acquiesce to law. You see? Not anarchy, which is which is what happens whenever you're atheist. You develop an extremist level of apathy that should not exist. So the Bible teaches us apathy, but in moderation. And we are only apathetic towards unlawful people. Anybody else, or illegal people and stuff like this. So now, anybody who keeps the law, we love. So that's how that works. So now, this is another case for reparations. I named it that because Ta-Nehisi Coates, I can't do any better than that. Sorry, I just do what I can. A heavy account lies against us as a civil society for oppressions committed against people who did not injure us. Let me check the chat. Cadillac Coupe de Ville. No one's talking. So let me get back to reading. And that if the particular case of many individuals were fairly stated, it would appear that there was considerable due to them. Let me check I want to check the placement of this big ass box that I see in front of my face that you guys can't see at all. All right. And it's not in my way. Now, so Quaker John Woolman said that in 1769, the United States, what many consider the greatest democracy in history, continues to fight a war that began before Jamestown founding in 1619. Historians argue that the Spanish brought African slaves to Florida as early as 1526. That goes right along with my studies, and that's why it's in this dissertation here. As did Sir Francis Drake. Okay, so let's check this link here, see if this makes any sense. That's what you should do as you're reading, is to fact check me. Fact check me, and you'll find out that I won't be losing any debates this year because I'm still alive. And it's funny to me because I enjoy life. That's why I have an eternal life. I've chosen life. That's why I always survive. That's why I always avoid every assassination attempt. Now, Sir Francis Drake, in the first attempted English colony at Roanoke Island in 1586, groups like the Quakers in New York, New England, and Baltimore called for the abolition of slavery as early as 1688. Citing Matthew 7 and 12, the golden rule, and asking, is there any that would be sold or made a slave for all the time of his life? There is a saying that we shall do to all men as we will be done ourselves. The tradition of slavery, specifically Africans, is rooted deep in the heart of the country. Most of Americans' early presidents between 1789 and 1850 were slave owners. You didn't know that? Including Washington, the father of the country. What a dummy. Jefferson, Madison, Monroe, Jackson, Van Buren, Harrison, Tyler, and Polk. Only John Adams and his son, John Quincy Adams, are omitted from this list. According to Britannica, which is just merely an opinion, other prominent Americans who owned African slaves were Samuel Chase, Benjamin Franklin, John Hancock, John Jay, and Patrick Henry. So before the Civil War, slavery apologists attempt to fantasize and whitewash the average slave's conditions, citing benign slave owners' kindness and claiming that only a few in the white population were complicit. Won't fool me. In their view, the Civil War arose from the federal government's attempt to override states' rights, not to end slavery. They excuse dawn to sunset work as common among all, slaves and free farmers, the existence of large, free black populations in the South, and a vibrant social and cultural life in their quarters beyond slave owners' reach. An objective view of the facts quickly disproves such delusions. Black slaves were considered property, typically, lived in crude quarters with inadequate nutrition and unrelenting hard labor. Families were subject to separation, women to rape, with men being helpless to intervene, and severe punishments, whippings, and torture. Man, when I found that out and I looked into the torture methods, I have to process because it makes me so angry. I have to be sure that I say things correctly. So the torture methods were pretty bad, horrendous, scary, and saddening. So yeah, I cried thousands of times in this ministry because of the things that I learned and read. Mutilation, even murder, for any age. Each state had a slave code that prohibited their testimony in court against a white, make contracts, leave the plantation without permission, strike a white, even in self-defense, buy and sell goods, own firearms, gather without a white presence, possess any anti-slavery literature, or visit the homes of whites or free blacks. Now, that particular sentence, right, I remember. It reminds me of the time that I was on a plantation. It's called some type of farm or whatever. You know, in prison, they have farms in prison, right? So I was in a work farm in prison. And we were over there having Bible study, gathered at one table, about 5 or 6 of us. And then the moment we were about to start praying, the cracker came around and said, "Y'all can't be gathered like this." And then they arrested the man who was leading the prayer. He was already in prison. And then they took him by force and arrested him and threw him in the hole. That perplexed me. And it told me exactly what I needed to know. So, I'm sorry if you don't get it, but it's better to learn from other people's experiences than for you to experience it for yourself. Killing a slave was rarely considered murder, nor the rape of slave women a crime. I don't know how that happened. Slave ownership was common in the South, according to the 1860 census. In his book, 1861, The Civil War Awakening, historian Adam Goodhart, the number of slave owners was understated, as many non-slave holding whites in the South rented slaves from wealthier slave owners. Don't you get it? So when they say they didn't own slaves, they meant it because they rented slaves. So this is how we know that modern day employment is just an equivalent to modern day slavery. because they rent you. So they don't even pay you daily before the sun goes down, as the Bible prescribes. They pay you weekly, sometimes bi-weekly. Sometimes they only pay you once a month. So that's against biblical law. So white Southerners were more likely to be a slave master, but not technically a slave owner. You get the difference? I hope you do. Give me a moment. When you read, you need to stay hydrated. When you read out loud, that is. Gotta keep yourself hydrated. I'm a bit parched. Okay, so this, programming is desensitized to me a bit. And I feel like I'm keeping it together very well right now because, compiling the information is very draining. Very draining. So now, where was I? Not slave owners. So those who could not afford slaves supported slavery. That's what their ancestors did, working with the hope that they would someday make enough money to buy their own. They were hoping. You see? All right. John Wilkes Booth, the assassin of Lincoln, wrote, I, for one, have ever considered it, slavery, one of the greatest blessings. Hold on, let me say this in the country, in a redneck voice. I, for one, have ever considered it one of the greatest blessings for themselves and us that God ever bestowed on a favorite nation. That's right. That's how he spoke. I heard his voice. There were 3,953,760 slaves in the U.S. that year, or 12.6% of the total population. I don't know where they get these numbers from. I just record them. About 1 in 4 households own slaves, including almost 50% of families in Mississippi and North Carolina. So I live in North Carolina now. Figure 1. I didn't put the figures in here. I didn't feel like that was necessary. In 1860, there were more millionaires per capita in the Mississippi Valley than ever anywhere else in the country. A screenshot of a cell phone description automatically generated. Is it? I didn't put it. I need to take this stuff out. I didn't put any pictures. Northern banks did insure slaves. Slave owners also took out mortgages on a broad scale, and slaves as property were estimated at a value of approximately $4 billion in 1860. You understand? See? Hold on. Why did it get smaller? Oh, well, let's put it back down then, if it's going to act like that. All right. That is the equivalent of $1.9 trillion in 2020 as a financial asset. It was the largest financial asset in the American economy. larger than all the manufacturing and railroad companies put together. David W. Blight, Pulitzer Prize winner and professor of history at Yale University. Interview, Court TV News. You can watch that on your own time. November 14th, 2007. Ta-Nehisi Coates. Great job. The author of The Case for Reparations, he writes for The Atlantic in June 2014, writes that the destruction of black families during slavery as a kind of murder. Here we find the roots of American wealth and democracy in the for-profit destruction of the most important assets available to any people, the family. So, I can't emulate his voice at all, so I just used that one. The destruction was not incidental to America's rise. It facilitated the rise. By erecting a slave society, America created the economic foundation for its great experiment in democracy. Let me just double check the Cadillac Coupe de Ville and see who's riding. Nobody's riding. That's good. Americans, after the Civil War, Americans rightly applauded the abolition of slavery with the Emancipation Proclamation in January 1st, 1863. Well, we all know that I need to change that because they transferred slavery from private ownership to public ownership, just like they do a lot of things, like the fire department and the police department. These were once private-owned companies, and now they are publicly owned. Governmentally owned companies. And the war's subsequent end. Still, few were willing to redress the wrongs committed over the 2 centuries against black people. Following a brief effort, Reconstruction period 1865 to 1877, to provide the same rights to the former slaves enjoyed by white people over discrimination, exploitation, and segregation became the norm, especially in the former Confederate states. Lincoln, though admired for the emancipation, was not prepared to give the new black citizens full rights. In a presidential debate with Stephen Douglas in 1858, he pronounced, "I will say then that I am not, nor ever have been, in favor of bringing about in any way the social and political equality of the white and black races." You see? So there's no reason to worship Abraham Lincoln. So when we hear our great illustrious president, POTUS, say stuff as Abe was a pretty good guy, it makes my head itch. So then they cheer out of control that I am not, nor ever have been, in favor of making voters or jurors of Negroes, nor of qualifying them to hold office, nor to intermarry with white people. And I will say, in addition to this, that there is a physical difference between the white and black races, which I believe will forever forbid the two races living together on terms of social and political equality. And inasmuch as they cannot so live, while they do remain together, There must be the position of superior and inferior. And I, as much as any other man, am in favor of having the superior position assigned to the white race. Following the 1867 Reconstruction Act's passage, blacks voted in large numbers and elected African Americans in communities throughout the South, an accomplishment much resented by the white people previously in power. The resentment simmered for at least 80 years. That's a long time. Sorry. E. Morton Coulter, a founding member of the Southern Historical Association and chair of the History Department at the University of Georgia, writing in 1947, 80 years later, described Reconstruction efforts with a glimmering resemblance to the later cults of fascism and Nazism. He claimed the period of black office holding was the longest and to be remembered, shuddered at, and execrated. Since the end of the Civil War, African Americans have experienced constant social, economic, and political efforts by the white power structure to keep them in a subordinate position and limit their opportunities to occupy a seat at the table of freedom. See? You see, Waterman? That's the seat. That's the table that I like to sit at. Since the end of the Civil War, African Americans have experienced constant social, economic, and political efforts by the white power structure to keep them in a subordinate position and limit their opportunities to occupy a seat at the table of freedom. So you told me that whenever they offer me a seat at the table of white supremacy, to take a seat. I would, no. That's why I don't talk about sports. Sports is white supremacy. Those physically adept persons are not utilizing their physical strengths and gifts to defend their people. They're using their physical strengths and gifts to entertain their people. This is what we call sellouts. You see? So now, from the terrorism of the Ku Klux Klan to the bombings of churches, Jim Crow laws, and poll taxes, lynching to extensive incarcerations, people of color have suffered from the outright racism of the few and the indifference of the many. The federal government and its three branches have failed to protect all of its citizens, lending credence to Booth's claim that this country was formed for the white, not for the black man. Really? I don't think so. Federal and state governments supported segregation for decades, even in the armed forces, where white and black men fought side by side, but could not share a meal in the South until 1963. The Supreme Court's 1896 Plessy v. Ferguson decision, separate but equal, remained in place more than 1/2 century until overturned by Brown v. Board of Education in 1954. Even then, James Meredith had to be protected by federal troops trying to enroll in the University of Mississippi in 1962. You see what I mean about federal troops versus local haters? When you learn history, you understand the future a slight bit better. You know, it's easier to calculate maneuvers, and steps to take. We call that being guided by the Most High. You see? Well, in actuality, it's way more technical than that, and it's way more specific, and is much more manipulative whenever you're on Team Most High that way, where our footsteps are literally guided by Him. But knowing the information is part of that conscious affirmation for Him to monitor our sincerity towards making life thrive as optimally as possible. Even then, okay, and as the Associated Press reported that schools in Cleveland, Mississippi, remained segregated until 2017. Black families making $100,000 typically live in the kinds of neighborhoods inhabited by white families making $30,000 a year. So we're charged just about 33% higher than white families just to live in the exact same size house. That's why I know what I'm doing in real estate. You understand? So I do my thing. Because I understand these informations. It is not possible to compare the economic outcomes of black and white children. Sociologist Patrick Sharkey said this in a lecture on February 27, 2015. Blacks are 2/3 more likely to work at or below poverty levels wages than whites, less likely to own a home and have a net worth 1/10 of the average white person. Federal home ownership programs used redlining and accepted restrictive covenants, forbidding a home's sale to anyone other than a white. Between 1924 and 1950, the National Association of Real Estate Boards Ethical Code warned that a realtor should never be instrumental in introducing into a neighborhood any race or nationality or any individuals whose presence will clearly be detrimental to property values. Black farm owners lost 6 million acres of land in the South from 1950 to 1969, almost disappearing under the U.S. Department of Agriculture's auspices. My family lost. If I had to guess, it was probably 50, between 50 to 300 acres. That's just one man. I know what I'm talking about. So now, one man in my family. I'm not talking about all the rest of my family. Family is quite successful. That's why they ostracize me, because I'm a freedom fighter. I don't work for people for 50 years and cry about it every day. So that's unusual in my family. Okay. So now, major audits and investigations of the USDA. Let me see. Black farm owners lost 6 million acres of land in the South in 1950 to 1969, almost disappearing under the U.S. Department of Agriculture auspices. Van Newkirk II of the Atlantic magazine writes, major audits and investigations of the The USDA have found that illegal pressures levied through its loan programs created massive transfers of wealth from black to white farmers, especially in the period of just after the 1950s. In 1965, the United States Commission on Civil Rights found that in a sample of counties across the South, the FMHA provided much larger loans for small and medium-sized white-owned farms relative to net worth than it did for similarly sized black-owned farms. Why? Because white people are 1 trillion times more violent than black people. So whenever they do that, they get their loans because they know they're going to have a problem on their hands. Case in point, I got a homie who just so happens to be G Coma's uncle. I taught him about the birth certificate scenario wherein a trust had just been created for us at birth in order to protect funds that could be utilized for repair and redress to a person's traumatic life once they become mature enough to find out about it and then state to them that they're alive. Oh, well, I've stated to you, I'm alive. Yes, I know. I realize this now, and I've been knowing it for a long time. So you have to formally state it to them that you're alive. You have to fire. Well, this is perfectly fantastical fantasy. I'm making this up as I go along. This is for entertainment purposes only. It's not law. I'm not a lawyer. You need to contact a lawyer. Once you fire the administrator of that trust, you can become the administrator of the trust and the beneficiary. And in that way, you can liquidate the trust. And then that, however much it is, I don't know, 6 billion maybe. If you lived a life like mine, it would probably be a minimum of $6 billion. I wasn't worried about it because it's highly protected and highly guarded. So I don't like dealing with drama. Okay, so I went the route of locating my family's fortune. I'm an Israelite. They're the wealthiest family on earth. Once I did so, I studied it more and I had to vet it to be sure that it was legit. Found out it's legit. And I never really particularly knew what to do with it, so I just notified the woke community, which is only consists of Messianic, repented Israelites. So I told as many people as I could reach. I mean, I got kicked off of 10 different Christian sites on the web. So I suppose they weren't found in those locations. And everybody then I found out that everybody was found located on Facebook. But I mean, when Facebook first came out, you were not allowed to speak to other people. And so they have made it that way again by causing the least interest as possible into your posts. And then everybody just tunes you out. They turn off their notifications to you and stuff like that. You understand? So it's like you're speaking directly to a wall that doesn't talk back and can't hear anything you're saying in the first place. So we have here the rest of the information. Where was it? 365, the United States Commission on Civil Rights found that in a sample of counties across the South, the FMHA provided much larger loans for small and medium-sized white-owned farms relative to net worth than it did for similarly sized black-owned farms. Evidence that racial discrimination has served to accelerate the displacement and impoverishment of the Negro farmer. So I just told you the reason why the whites get more loans to this day. It's because the bankers don't want to see them coming. They don't want to die. You see? So the example that I was trying to give is that I got a homie that just so happened to be G. Comer's uncle, who I had taught about the birth certificate trust, right? Invested in his birth certificate trust. I think he invested $50,000. Yeah, that's what he did. Invested $50,000. Within 48 hours, that $50,000 became $2 million. Two with 6 zeros behind it. $2 million. So he thought that was so impressive that he would give me the $50,000 that he initially invested to grow it into $2 million. The bank that he invested that money with refused to allow him to withdraw the $2 million that he had just produced with his prudent investment in himself, in his own history, in his own trust that's there for him to invest in. Last thing he told me was, take a look at this. You see that $50,000 there? That's yours. Then he showed me the address of the location of the investment and said, these clowns refuse to give me my money. He said, so therefore, my whole mission in life has changed momentarily until I accomplish this mission. He said he's going to go to Europe where the bank is found, and he's going to make the owner of the bank give him his $2 million. I know he went to do that, and I'm fairly certain he was successful. But just like any other person that you meet, whenever you offer value to people, they don't appreciate it. I haven't heard from him since. I'm fairly certain, to the degree of 99%, that he's still alive and still extremely wealthy. That $50,000 wasn't like his last bit of money. He was already a millionaire, a multi-millionaire, a 10 millionaire, you know what I'm saying? 7-figure millionaire. So, let's see where we at. My eye keeps itching, so for some reason. All right. At the time of World War I, there were 1 million black farmers, and in 1992, there were 18,000. With the turn of the 21st century, a growing number of white Americans, especially the young, recognized the carnage experienced by African Americans from the immoral and illegal acts that began with slavery and continue today. Ta-Nehisi Coates notes that black people have reportedly paid a high price for citizenship and received little in return. A call for atonement, the need for reparations. Few moral Americans attempt to dispute the evil of slavery or its corrosive effects that continue to affect the country. According to Reverend William J. Barber II, The United States is facing a national crisis that is, in many ways, an intensifying of the storm that rocked America in 1968. The question is whether we have the moral capacity to face what ails society. How can America address the wrongs in which it has encouraged, endorsed, and participated? So as I pondered on that, I know I have the key in my mind already. I already understand that the key to that is here and out there. It is actually exists. So I really didn't know how to word it. So I'm just going to present it as is to the Congress. And then it would quite behoove them to accept their sentencing. So during a sentencing hearing, the defendant is allowed to weigh in on the level of sentencing. If that makes any sense to you. Okay. So that's what's going to happen on the 26th of this month. And they're going to weigh in on their sentencing, on their level of sentencing. The Declaration of Independence speaks of unalienable rights endowed by our Creator. While we are expressly a secular nation, the religious writings of Judaism, Christianity, and Islam recognize and require atonement to address wrongs. David Sweet, writing in the Yale Law Journal, notes that civil and criminal law customarily demands atonement for its breach, not merely the repayment of an outstanding debt, but the complete restoration of the pre-existing relationship. Richard Posner's economic analysis of law suggests that we, society at large, should extract repayment from those who have perpetuated the harm. The United States Senate formally apologized to millions of Black Americans forcibly bought to the country and lost their freedom to build riches for the country on June 18, 2009. Sorry for the typo, because that should be brought. However, the apology contains a specific disclaimer that nothing in his resolution authorizes or supports any claim against the United States. Some would characterize the apology like a jury finding a verdict of murder and setting the guilty free. Our apology is hollow when there is no effort to correct the injustice. 9 states, Alabama, Connecticut, Delaware, Florida, Maryland, New Jersey, North Carolina, Tennessee, and Virginia, have also made official apologies. Several businesses, universities, and the Southern Baptist Convention have also made public apologies. The first stage, only the first stage of atonement. Some institutions have given or pledged reparations to the descendants of slaves, including the state of Florida, the city of Chicago, Georgetown University, and multiple religious seminars. There have been improvements in the treatment of African Americans, especially in the last half century. The progress is evidence of the nation's acceptance of the wrongs, if not an admission of guilt, but more, much more is needed than words. Coates likens America's position as that of a person after running up credit card debt, having pledged to charge no more, but unclear why the balance on the card doesn't disappear. The effects of that balance, the accumulated wrongs inflicted on the African Americans, interests accruing daily, are all around us. Reparations in modern times. The most notable example of reparations in modern times is the multiple payments made to the Jewish people for the Holocaust hoaxes, atrocities. Despite the commonly held belief that the United States does not pay reparations, there are numerous examples of payments in the past, including, but not exclusive to, Native Americans. In 1946, when President Harry Truman signed legislation establishing the Indian Claims Commission that subsequently awarded $1.3 billion to 176 tribes and bands. An apology for the treatment did not occur until 2009. Isn't that pretty stupid? But I mean, I would have preferred them to do it backwards with us. Pay us first, then apologize 63 years later. How about that? No, that's not how they do with us. Native Hawaiians, the Hawaiian Homes Commission Act of 1920 established a land trust for Native Hawaiians, allowing people of one-half Hawaiian ancestry to lease homesteads from the federal government for 99 years at a time for $1. The apology for the treatment did not come until 1993, 73 years later. Okay, the Hawaiian Homes Commission Act established a land trust for Native Hawaiians, allowing people of one-half Hawaiian ancestry to lease homesteads from the federal government for 99 years at a time. So that's how long their lease was, 99 years. For $1. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. That's probably why Hawaii looks so wealthy and their land values are so high and their property values are so high. The apology for the treatment did not come till 1973, 73 years later, 1993. Okay. The Japanese internees, due to racial prejudice, 120,000 Japanese Americans were moved to detention camps on the West Coast and held between 1942 and 1945, 3 whole years. Whoa! The Civil Liberties Act of 1988 officially apologized for the action and awarded $20,000 to every single survivor. Medical experiment survivors, known as the Tuskegee experiments in 1932, 600 black men were deliberately untreated to observe the long-term effects of syphilis. Okay, so that's why we know so much about syphilis, because of this experiment. Prodded by a class action lawsuit, the government awarded the victims $10 million. Class action means 10 million divided by 600 black men. Healthcare and burial services for the men, and healthcare and other services to their spouses and descendants. The apology followed in 1997, 65 years later, by President William Clinton. And I remember that apology. I saw that live. Did I cry? I don't think I did that time, but I wasn't as astute as I am now. Final thoughts. The time has come for Americans to redress the damage done to a significant percentage of its citizens. Black citizens represent more than 1 in 8 Americans today. They have suffered for more than 3 centuries for the wrongs perpetrated on them. The guilt of the American government acting on behalf of the citizenry is incontestable and widely acknowledged. The need for reparations to victims is morally and legally required and has historical precedent. The only remaining questions are how much compensation is needed, in what form, and who best manages its distribution to ensure the victims receive justice. America is not merely another heartless corporation who could care less about the lives not exclusive to human life. I just made this word up because it just sounds better than lives. They impact because our human actions has an effect on other life forms that so I think that's highly important. America is a slow repenting government who has cured multiple disasters, both foreign and domestic. So this is the remaining questions. How much compensation is needed, in what form, and who best manages its distributions to be sure who's going to do that? You, Tone? Are you going to do that? Oh, come on. You bang on everybody in the world. You literally bang on every famous person that exists. Anybody trying to speak up for black people, you bang on. That's dumb. That's really dumb. That's really dumb. That's not something that you should do. So I think I should be the one to incorruptibly distribute the funds to descendants of slaves. If you disagree, we can box. We can do a celebrity boxing match. So let's do this. Click on, since I'm the one distributing the monies to the 41 million descendants of slaves today, we're going to find out how much money I'm going to be distributing to the descendants of slaves today. All right, so let's determine who I represent. So I represent Praise Nation. Praise Salvation. Nation. The nation of Praise Salvation. So that's perfectly prescribed many years ago. The blueprint is perfectly laid out by our ancestors for us to perform at a time after our sentence that was handed down to us and our ancestors by the Most High. So luckily, I was born at the end of the sentence. I was born at the end of the sentence. It was a 2,800-year sentence. And I was born at the end of it. And I survived to the end of the sentence. That ended in 2019. Ain't that a coincidence? Man, you just don't understand how deep the rabbit hole goes. So we, other than Ice Cube, have the clearest, but that's why I just titled it, we have a clear list of compensation. You see? Because Ice Cube's goes much more specifically and in depth than even ours. And I've been studying this for years. So he hired some experts and got a even richer, more comprehensive plan than our own in Praise Nation. Oh, you think? See, I'm not the only one speaking here. I just represent the people that I'm speaking for. I'm connected with 600. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 600 African American organizations. Plus, over 600. We meet all the time. It's very easy to meet nowadays on Zoom. We live in the future. Don't you know that? We live in the future. We can now all sit on a TV screen in our home or a phone screen in our home, you see, and talk to each other, 600 of us at one time. We live in the future. This is the time that where the sentencing and the punishments that the Most High placed on our ancestors has ended. It's over. Can no longer go back. We will not fail. I can promise you that. The Most High will not fail because He has not failed us. So therefore, the things that we're doing is only what the Most High wants done. So we're not doing anything on our own. You see what I'm saying? So now, which one of you remember when the Black Lives Matter blew, no pun intended, because you know what they are, a platinum opportunity to tell Hillary Clinton what they want? Praise Nation remembers. How could we forget? Instead of banging on power in that moment, Black Lives Matter should have outlined the Harvest Freedom Act for reparations to African Americans and autochthonists. Problem is, the Harvest Freedom Act didn't exist when they met Hillary Clinton. You see? Here are our demands, all tied for number one in order of importance. So what's yours? Comment below this dissertation. Administrators of reparations payments are a total of 48 refuge cities, 172,000 acres per city, per state. So as we read before, look at this right here, 172,000 acres. But look what these boys got over here, right? Let's go back one more time. I just wanted you to see something. Just wanted you to see something really quickly here. Black farm owners lost 6 million acres. So now let's go to the calculator and say 48 times 172,000 acres. Oops. Oops. Okay. You see that? That is 8,256,000 acres. Now, let's get back to the reading here and see if I did something right. Black farmer owners lost 6 million acres of land only in the South in 1950 and 1969, almost disappearing under the U.S. Department of Agriculture's auspices. It just vanished from their control. It went to the control of thieves. You think we're stupid. No, we're just patient. We were under the curses. The curse is now lifted. We're into the age of blessings. And we're about to repossess the land. So now, I just wanted you to see that. So we're requesting 8,256,000. I think I'm gonna edit that right now. Okay. So I don't forget that part. 8,256,000 acres total. Let's see here. Let's go back. How about that? Let's go back. And then let's find the blog. And clear list of compensation. And go down here to the, let's say, that equals 8,256,000 acres total. Okay, great. Let me make sure that worked right. Update it here. All right, here. All right, yeah, 8 tons is 1,000 tons. Now, we're also, we're not requesting anything. We're demanding. It's just, I mean, there's no way around it. I don't see how you're going to stop it. It's just impossible. The Most High wants it to happen. Whatever the Most High decrees to happen, must happen. His word will not come back to him void. 6.203 quadrillion, updated in light of the city's recommendations. You go here. The headline of this article is Mayor's back reparations that could cost $6.2 quadrillion. I don't know why that thing's in the way. Quadrillion or $151 million per descendant. Yeah. So what they attempt to do psychologically, right, is to make it sound. I mean, even though that's nowhere near fair, 6.2 quadrillion, but they want to make it sound. They try to price you out of the market just like they do with the housing market. The same $30,000 that a white person spends on a house is the same size home of $100,000 property that a black person spends on a house. So they try to price you out of the market. That's the problem. That's the reason for inflation, is the cheating that occurs in the marketplace. So they made it seem unpayable because they realized that the United States does not make that much money in a year, and they have not saved that much money ever. 6.2 quadrillion. You understand? So this is the domestic gross product at this location right here, and that's how much money that they make a year, and that is million, billion, trillion, 19 trillion dollars a year. That's how much they produce, and then they have a ton of debt. So they're in debt more than they produce. 19 trillion is what they produce, and they're 27 trillion in debt. Million, billion, trillion. You see? So the U.S. total debt is 81 trillion. It's ridiculous. So now, this is the kind of stuff that you find out, right? So as you considering these things, you have to kind of understand psychology along with the numbers. You see what I'm saying? So they say 6.6 quadrillion, in public to shock the audience to say, "How it's impossible to pay that? It's impossible. That's no, there's not there's not that much money in the whole world." You see what I'm saying? So within their fiat system, that's true. That's the case. So it shocks people, and then it makes them disinterested in redressing black people. You see? One time, so that's what we're going to receive. That's what the nation of Praise Nation is going to receive. It's a one-time tax-exempt payment to administer payments incorruptibly to applicants slash beneficiaries. We need a moratorium on abortion to examine and disproportionate black genocide. That's the bottom line. It's just murder. Replace the Social Security number with our own indexing. So Social Security number is just merely just an index number to index the trust that they put in place for us. And once you try to cash in on the trust, you must hold the United States non-liable, or non-responsible. You must exonerate. Basically, you got to exonerate the United States for maintaining the trust for you on your behalf. Which, I mean, it's fair trade. It's fair trade. You know, my trust, the last time I looked at it in 2016, yeah, I think it was 2016 last time I looked into my trust, and it was $6 billion, over $6 billion. So so that could be a way to pay for reparations. Tap into everybody's trust, every victim's trust, or the victim's trust and the victim's ancestors' owners and their victims' ancestors' renters' trust in order to pay for this right here. And again, to exonerate them in that regard is not an unfair trade, because they have maintained that trust for you to tap into. You see? But, you know, it's just people out here that don't care and are not intelligent who will continue to hold their ignorance against you, because you keep them ignorant with your silly ass suppressive and repressive and oppressive systems that you have in place everywhere. Stop it. Repent. So now, identity revelation. This was a highly important issue to one of the California brothers who has a 3-point reparations plan. So this was one of his points. Another one of his points was healthcare, free healthcare and free dental and free all types of stuff. So let me see if I can find that for you right quick. Officer Coalition. Well, I'll run into it as I read. So, identity revelation report and promote our stolen and erased identity. So, he thinks he's a Moor, and Moors finally realized that they're Israelites after years of banging on them. So now, at any rate, moratorium on effects of Satanists in society. Has to be figured out here. Because when I first saw, the Satanist gathering and stuff like that, I thought it didn't really particularly have much of an effect other than their little echo chambers that they deal with. But they have grown in such power. I mean, they have always been around for many thousands of years. So I realized that they're tapped into the power structure because it has trickled down to the very bare minimum population, you know what I'm saying? Like the poorness. How you got poor, broke Satanists? How? I don't understand how that works. So they figure it's important to worship Satan. So, but we got to figure out what it's doing to society. And as we see in this, let me show you something right quick that I just watched the other day. This is my first time ever seeing this. It's called The Corporation. This right here, The Corporation. So they seem to realize with their imagery that Satan is the corporation. It checks every single checkbox of psychopath, the definition of psychopath. Modern corporations check every single checkbox of the word psychopath. So they're treated as a person, but they seem, because they perform a need for any community that demands their products and services, they seem to get a pass for their psychopathy, because we prefer their products and services over their psychopathy and how they're destroying so much, you see. So that's all due to Satanism, because that construct of those corporations was made absent of any moral compass. So you got 10 plus new holidays and memorials. So the reason I added this is because we don't have a nationally recognized biblical holidays and memorials. You see what I'm saying? So this is how this particular non-compromisable itinerary, or whatever you said, call it, is how I realized that they're going to recognize us formally as a nation and allow us our own refuge cities as per our request, because there's no way in the world that they're going to nationalize in America 10 biblical feasts, which are the 10 Commandments, and memorials in the Bible. I don't see that never ever happening, because they make a conscious effort to separate church and state. You see? So at any rate, restore all indigenous sacred sites and grounds to our ownership, and which includes Mount Rushmore. So they need to pass HR 40. I got to put that in there. They need to pass into law HR 40. You thought I was going to forget, huh? Yeah, because I thought HR 40 had already become law. But apparently it hasn't. Because see, look at this. You see how it says became law here? But it's not lit up. It has to be dark, like introduced. You see what I'm saying? So I didn't know that. I certainly didn't know that. Yep, I didn't know that. Okay, so let's get this out of the way. Open a new window. Oops. You gotta open it in the window, brother. Okay, thank you. Now, update that. Get rid of that. And update that. Make sure I see HR 40 on the list, and I can continue reading. So, yeah, we might as well do it in decency and in order. So we might as well get that passed first, HR 40, and then we're gonna move on to the REAP Act of 2013. We're gonna get that situated. So this the Harvest Freedom Act is gonna be getting the other acts passed. We're gonna be passing HR 1042, calling on the Senate to rename the Russell Senate Office Building and to Benjamin Banneker Senate Office Building. How about that? How about the brother that designed Washington, D.C.? How about that? You're going to do it. HCR 44, Restore Portrait Monument. HCR 94, Honor Mary McLeod Bethune. She's the man. Senate Resolution 179. House Resolution 345, the Freedom of Press. HR 640, condemning Christian persecution worldwide. That's all they have to do is just verbally condemn it. SR Senate Resolution 274, no organ harvesting. Okay, so special congrats on congressional maturity in passing HR 2121. The 116th Congress, 2019-2020, Stop Organ Trafficking Act. Remember the girl that was found in the freezer, and that singer girl accepted her kidneys. And Gucci did a video with the dumb broad. Remember her? Remember that? So that's what the SR 274 helps with. So what we're going to do, we're going to remove all Baphomet and Columbus statues, among other statues. Freedom to pursue and bring to justice the culprits of slavery, immediate stay and release of political prisoner Mumia Abu-Jamal, immediate stay and release of Travis Cole due to coerced plea and lack of evidence. The applicants, that's what Praise Nation is going to get. We're getting that in order to administer to the applicants. So the applicants are going to receive tax exempt payments based on tax bracket. So you can see that here. Just click that little button. Over here. Go down to paragraph 7. And you can see that the lowest income bracket will receive $51,500 per year. The next above them will receive $31,000 per year. And then the bracket above them, the income bracket higher than them, receive $25,000 per year. And you got right above that, $20,000 per year to upper middle income, and $15,000 per year to the higher income. Higher incomes is $188,000 and up. Additionally, a one-time $1 million loans will be issued to descendants of slaves at 3.3% per year per annum. All right, so that's not usury. So stop it. Usury is abuse of interest. Additionally, one time, okay, so that's what you find out on whenever you click that button. You go back here, and you find out that the applicants and the beneficiaries are going to receive diplomatic immunity, free health care, dental and vision for life, true primary source of Black education year-round, right to travel, passports, driving, new identification from Praise Salvation, the nation, Entrepreneur Conservation Corps. So this is patterned after some type of work corps that happened during the New Deal. Okay, so let me find that for you. Why I call it an Entrepreneur Conservation Corps. See, it says the Civilian Conservation Corps. So this was just for workers. You know what I'm saying? For work, play, study, and health. You know what I'm saying? And so you also got the Civil Works Administration that had the same kind of goal. So I just patterned it after that on purpose because America wants to have a new deal with Black people. So it's called the Entrepreneur Conservation Corps, and so which is going to be specifically detailed. It's my big bro. My big bro is in town. Let me see if I can adjust this screen to get him on the screen here. Speaker view, gallery view. Okay, so that'll work. All right, now let me get back to sharing my screen, like the Jordans say. And back here, Entrepreneur Conservation Corps. So that's because hey, bro, we tired of working for y'all. You don't pay right, you don't treat right. Okay, so there's going to be a special training company for entrepreneurs, and hopefully headed by the Spectacular Academy, which is the most intelligent academy that I've ever been a part of. Or if they turn it down, then we'll just recruit anybody willing to do that. But I'm pretty sure he'll be willing to do that because he talked to the little bro. The man, Spectacular, talked to the little bro. What's his name? Oh, let me check the YouTube to be sure this is looking correctly still here.
Yeah, it's clear.
Okay, it's clear. All right, so so the little bro is what's my man name that's on the FOI that's been
RZA Islam?
No, not RZA. The young funny guy.
Young funny.
It's not Wesley. It's not RZA. It's a real young guy on the Fruits of Islam that's been had it popping YouTube for a while now.
Only little kid I remember, he passed away. That was real. That was Hui Ka. Let me see.
Brother, that's what he calls himself. Brother something. Brother. It might pop up in my searches here. Let me check.
It gonna pop up. It gonna pop up in a minute. I
know you. Yeah. That guy. It's a young guy that has real strong editing for his videos, and he's a funny guy, and and he's in the Fruits of Islam, young brother. So Spectacular had spoke to him. Matter of fact, I bet you if I look up Spectacular and brother Spectacular And brother, damn.
Yeah, you probably if you put it in your search, it probably just pop up. It probably won't show right there. Probably have to put it in all the way, like hit enter.
Okay.
You get the list of videos that pop up.
Right. Okay. Let's do it like that. Okay. Sweet regular and baby blue. Yeah. I forget. Damn. Anyway, my point is that if he's taking the time to reach out to the unconscious community, then I'm pretty sure he'll be willing to head up the special training of the entrepreneurs per this plan. You feel me? So I hope he takes up the cause, because that's the only way this website even exists, is because I'm in that academy and they ask you a billion different questions, and it exposes to yourself what you love the most. And so I understand because they want you to go, whenever they want you to make money for yourself and become an entrepreneur, they want you to do it in the field that you love the most. Just like, would you say that music is your biggest love, other than your families,
Right. As far as my hobby, and my economic. Now, so watch this, Claim. A lot of folks look at the music game, right, and they think the only entrepreneurship is to make it as a rapper or a singer or maybe a dancer or something, right? But then the entrepreneurship and facilitating them is a good. So that's what I learned. Like as I got older, when I got into my 30s. So people say, "What's your plan B? If rapping don't work out, what's your plan B? What you gonna do?" I say, "I'm gonna do music." So they really didn't understand what I mean. Now, what I mean by that is, so in this business, I'm gonna do a studio, be a manager, maybe how you were saying with somebody building websites for people. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna do something geared towards entertainment. You know what I'm saying? So, and I learned when I was in my 20s, due to experience, that you don't have to make this a get rich quick thing in a music business, but you can make it. You can be economically sound to where you can have every Friday when somebody else get a regular check. If you economically sound on what you're doing, you can create you a check too. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So whether you're doing studio time for $10 an hour, or you're doing studio time for $100 an hour, but by Friday, you know what I'm saying, you want to have you a certain quota. But yeah, but that's how I look at the entrepreneurship and what I do. And I think that's all the way across the board. If you into construction, if you into environment services like janitorial work and stuff like that, all that stuff inside, like some people may think with janitorial stuff, cleaning the toilets is the job, but the job is getting the accounts. You know what I'm saying? Cleaning
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's about getting the contracts. So if you want to be a janitor, because you feel like that's the only job that you can get, well, then be a janitor, and then go around to the varying companies, call them, and get contracts with those companies, so that you have 5 contracts that's paying you $1,000 per month, $2,000 per month, and that's $5,000 per month in your bank account, and you just go do the work. And then you got $10,000 per month in your bank account, and you just go do the work. See? So let's stick with music for a second here, because now you got your videographers, you got your makeup artists, you got your costume designers, which ain't nothing but a fancy word for clothing designers. You see? You got your models, you got your model companies.
I was just about to say, knock on wood, yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And then the companies for all these different little trades that people know and love. You see? So that's how the Spectacular Academy trains your brain. Is based on Oprah.
They doing it every day. A person that hangs out on Instagram all day or Facebook all day, they not understand that they are bloggers. In 2020, blogging is a job now. It's a career type because you can get, like you say, 10 accounts, 5 or 10 accounts of people, accounts you managing and that you blogging for. Now you already on the internet all day anyway. You know what I'm saying? And people they want their pages to be kept up. They got an Instagram page and they got product on their page. They got a Facebook page or a Twitter page, and they want those pages to be kept up. And those pages need management. People will pay for that. I've actually seen in the past week or so people saying social media management. I'm like, what in the hell just happened? You know what I'm saying? How did I miss that job? You know what I'm saying? How did I miss that? And so now I'm doing research on social media managing. I'm like, oh damn! So somebody is actually managing somebody else's. They paying people to manage their Instagram and Facebook pages for them. I'm like, damn, that's cool. So not to be covetous of somebody else's hustle, but I looked at that and to land back on what you're saying with this, when you talk about entrepreneurship and working for yourself, it's like people already have it claimed to me. And if they woke up washing cars on the weekend because that was their way to go outside, they know that means you know how to detail. That's a career. Let me say you could be an entrepreneur. You can have a company in it. If your ass do hair, you know what I'm saying? You can make a company out of that. Now, granted, watch this, claim. The flip side to a lot of these careers. So I put it like this. So with music, you can go to the music store, buy you some equipment, and open up a studio and take off, right? With hair and fashion, they want you to go to school and get some type of license to say that you qualify to sew clothes or you qualify to fix someone's hair, And then that little part right there, be discouraging people that really know how to sew and really know how to do hair. Some of them may not be able to read or write or count, whatever, you know what I'm saying? But the craft with their hands, they very crafty, So that's the thing I think that is that what your academy is about? Like teaching people like, okay, we're gonna teach you how to do it solely, or is it gonna be giving them out some type of degree to where they can get past going through the system, or they still have to go? Or would you still encourage them if they do hair to go through the hair school system that's already set up in America?
The Spectacular Academy is founded by the Pretty Ricky member Spectacular, and the mantra that I was speaking on is talking about going into the things that you love as a ways to make money, right? Is particular is that I don't know if many people know this, but that particular mantra was made popular by Oprah. She said that years and years ago, to do what you love to make money. You see what I'm saying? So I didn't realize how powerful that was till I got into this academy. And the questioning that they do, it streamlines where you should focus your energies and your time. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like, that's how I know Polite is on the right track for his economics. So in the same regard with Spectacular, they only consider economics, and they consider that a means to salvation. So I tend to agree because the Bible tells us that money answers everything. So when you do what you love, it don't even feel like work. You just be, you know what I'm saying? You can be on a natural high for days and be up for days, just doing the stuff that you love to do. You know what I'm saying? So, but then they show you specifically how to monetize it. They give you resources by by way of like specific training in credit, mastering credit, and getting credit lines and building your credit up to exponential levels that you used to having. And they also give you influencers, like they know a lot of famous people. And so whenever you master your particular business branding, then you pass it on to their influencers, and their influencers amplify and what I'm saying, do the marketing for you. Because if they post anything or support anything, then thousands of people do the same thing that uh, their idols do. You know what I'm saying?
You ever heard of Dun and Bradstreet?
Yeah. It's kind of like a social security number, but for businesses.
Yeah, right. So in other words, if you're an entrepreneur, right, and you set up your Dun and Bradstreet, so if you're an entrepreneur and you like, damn, how do I get a 401k like a regular person job? You would set that up via your Dun and Bradstreet. So by the time you're ready to retire, your 401k is set up. Dun and Bradstreet sets that up for you.
That's right.
So a lot of people don't. So like some folks just look at it as an insurance company, but it's a little more than that. You know what I'm saying? What made me think of it when you start talking about the credit score and stuff like that? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because your business is a totally different person than yourself. So your business needs its own identification number for them to keep track in the credit market.
Yeah. So so people say you got to open up a business account, work off your business account. Well, you have to have those other insurance set up too. You know what I'm saying? And that thing just make you. It just really turn you into that person you work for. Now you are the boss. You know what I'm saying? But people have to understand, like, okay, more or less than just working for yourself. The same way the person that you go clock in for, they have a certain thing set up as far as let's use the word benefits. You go to some people's job and they say, I want the job that got dental and this, that, and the third, you know what I'm saying? So but they set it up through whatever type of insurance bill, if it's Dun and Brass or whatever, you know what I'm saying, other company they use. And if you start your company, I think people should look at the people that they work for and create a model off of that. To say, if I work for Church's Chicken or some shit like that, where did they order their food from? You know what I'm saying? Where did they order their napkins and forks from? You know, what type of cleaning products? They just model your whole thing, just like the people you work for. So when you do start working for yourself, you at least have somewhat of a routine or a pattern, you know what I'm saying, that you see. Now, granted, some people say, think outside the box. Claim I still say you got to use the tools inside the box. Even if you got a wild imagination, you still got to use the tools in the
box. Boy, you smart. Yes, I've been wanting to ask you for months, man. Do you know Perry from my hood? We used to call him Bubba.
From where you from?
Yeah.
From Carolina?
No, you don't know. You don't know where I'm from? Over there on Plainville Drive.
I know
Perry or Andy Blunt.
Jay Blunt.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know Jay Blunt.
Okay. What about those are my only two I really wanted to ask about. So you don't know Bubba though.
No, I don't know Bubba. Probably not by that name.
Okay. Yeah, get older and get smart and start calling yourself different stuff. my damn favorite little cousin, he called himself QL Charisma now. His nigga named Quentin. Quentin, you know what I'm saying? Quentin Lamar, that's his name, but he called himself QL Charisma. I said, damn, you grown, ain't you?
So claim you heard what Blue song sounded like when they first playing it, right? I don't know if you heard it when they first was playing that thing. And then when he played it last night, what I did to help it improve. That's what I was saying with your song.
Nah, that was the first time I heard it whenever you had tested.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so
that shit sounds phenomenal, man. Ridiculous. That boy can rap, and that beat is fire. The mix is great now.
Yeah. So, with those elements right there, Claim, all you got to do is record yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like if you got good ideas, you record yourself, send it to me. I mix that shit down for you. Shit, you on to the races. Fuck everything.
Oh, damn, it's just that easy, huh? Dang. Okay, I'm gonna get on that, man. I'm definitely gonna get on that because I got a new computer now. I see your phone ring, but I got a new computer now, and you know what I'm saying. I got time today, cuz I got time today, as they say. So yeah, so that's what I patterned the Entrepreneur Conservation Corps after the New Deal Civilian Conservation Corps that was focusing on training for jobs. You see, so but of course, you know how that kind of worked out to the favor of people who were very interested in getting into that program. You see what I'm saying? So at any rate, Officer Assistant Coalition. This is important to me because who the fuck wants to defund the police? Only an idiot wants to defund the police. Am I right or am I right?
You're right, because so you talking about defunding the police, which will make crime increase.
Yeah, exponentially through the roof.
So some folk, when they hear the word crime, right, they think murder or burglary or some way far off stuff. They ain't thinking about simple stuff like traffic stops or miscommunication at a convenience store. You know what I'm saying? They ain't thinking about small stuff like that. Like I just want a refund. Like I don't want to argue.
Consumer protection.
Yeah.
All types. Yeah, man.
So now you defund the police. So now the only money for the police is for the soldier style police. Because the other police, the fraud department, ain't got no money. You know what I'm saying? Or shit, you know, we worry about that later. You know what I'm saying? The eviction folk, you know what I'm saying, can't get nobody up off their properties. You know what I'm saying?
Not at all. What the crazy? I mean, it's so much to consider. It's just ridiculously retarded to even consider defunding the police. So, I mean, they even though they didn't help me not for 1 second when I was about to die a few months ago,
right?
But they still is useful in some cases.
Right. So like they're useful in the case of when it's time for, like, if your grandmother or your grandfather or somebody needs some room made for them, right? And you got irate people in front of them. They good for that. They good for if you in a traffic jam or whatever, and people are having a whole lot of road rage emotion. You know what I'm saying? When you see those lights, it kind of make you clean up a little bit and drive straight. You know. You know, so you got from traffic to the hospital. You know what I'm saying? To medicines and stuff like that. Like, so you're talking about, okay, we got a crazy drug problem in America. Black neighborhood, white neighborhood, Chinese neighborhood, all the neighborhood, crazy drug problem. With this, and the drug problem ain't just crack, especially not in today's time, Claim. It's all kind of
mess. Yeah, everything, man. This is crazy. All these pills, meth. I could wet. I mean, lean.
Yeah, all that stuff, and you talking about somebody that now the police do respond violently on some calls, but not all calls. So you got some people who be like drugged out their mind and be about to get hit by cars and stuff like that because they can't, you know what I'm saying, think straight. So, you know, like the police shouldn't brutalize those people, but you know, the ones that are brutalizing people shouldn't do that. But then you had the other police who come pick their ass up and call you and say, well, we took your uncle or whatever. We put him in, right now he's at the hospital. We got him locked to the bed or whatever. He was about to get hit by a car. You know what I'm saying? They make sure they do all that stuff. Contact the family. And now, if you defund the police, you ain't got that. Your children get into some stuff with some adults or whatever. Ain't no police to come mediate that. You know?
Right. So like now the reason I want to help strictly black people for this is because did you see that video where that old white man beat the hell out of that dude and that girl cop and then stole their police vehicle and drove off?
Yeah, I seen that.
You see what I'm saying? So he didn't get shot in the face multiple times. He didn't get shot in the back 7 times. He didn't get killed. You see what I'm saying? They didn't kill him. See what I'm saying? So apparently, white people don't need that assistance. You see? So we want a special task force to go out only a special assistance with black respondents to help them respond, because I think they genuinely fear us.
I think if we want that type of black protection that we talking about, right? What the white man is paying for, well, our taxes, they say our tax dollars is paying for these police stations, these fire departments and hospitals, you know. That's what they say. Our money is paying for this stuff. But on the flip side, my point is, if we want certain type of protections, we have to pay for that. Like, okay, in other words, a rich man would get bodyguards because he could afford that. You know what I'm saying? Now, at the same time, you're talking about the poor man who can't afford bodyguards, but you know, and the poor man, I probably already saying, I'm paying my money to the government. That's supposed to be my protection.
That's right.
We should have our own security in place. May not call it the police or whatever, but our own type security in place that we employ as a black community. If they employed by, so say for instance, okay, now say for instance, take an organization like the NAACP just for a conversation purpose. You take the NAACP, they already been established over 50 years or whatever. Now they got a security company that's not only patrolling the neighborhoods like the police would, but also paying attention to these police stations. You know, because what we got is the police policing us, but nobody to police the police, and nobody to police us while the police police us. To say that if we doing some bullshit, more or less than you feel like the police coming over harassing you or beating you across your head, our own security witness you doing some bullshit. So either court you go to, whether you go to our court, which is in the black community, or you go to the government court, you know what I'm saying, for the state, both parties seeing you being belligerent. You know what I'm saying? Or out of control.
Yep, you get it. You get exactly what I'm trying to say here. That's exactly correct. That's how it should be. That's fair. You understand? Because the majority of the stuff that we're reacting to is blatant and obvious super abuse. You see what I'm saying? But it's micro abuses that go on constantly, like thousands and thousands and millions of times a day, and we can't take it. We tired of these young people out here about to tear this place apart. They're about to tear it up. So that's what I'm trying to tell these people in the Congress. You had better fix this, and the only way to fix it.
And watch this claim, and they white children. My brother said to me, he said those children woke up and recognized that their grandparents and great grandparents were monsters. They're friends with the people that, like, integration made them become friends with the people that they being monsters with. Monsters towards, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And now these little kids bucking on their parents and stuff. When you look at these places going up in fire, you know what the black echo is? That ain't us doing that. We don't do that. Why would we need that CVS? We need that Target. It's them folk children doing that. Cause you know that see, you can see the white person doing it now. They burning it up now. That's that children rebelling against them, saying y'all were monsters to my friends' parents, to my friends' parents.
Ooh, that's so deep, man. Woo, that gives me a good feeling. That's deep. But I see how you can say that.
Because these children, black children, white children, you see what's going on over in Hong Kong, China. So Chinese children, you know what I'm saying? All these children bucking. They like, oh hell no, we ain't finna keep going through this same system all across the world. So now people say, go back to Africa. Them children over there bucking too.
That's right. That's right.
The way the world system set up, pay taxes, give us all your money for a small space on the earth that you really that's kind of condemned. You know what I'm saying?
That you don't own.
You don't own, right?
Man, brother.
So now these children waking up and watch this claim. They it's crazy. The wealthy children that's bucking like this. They the wealthy children that's going crazy like this.
That's right. That's right. I mean,
the ghetto kids be like,
now you can't tell me that ain't the Most High, because we've been doing this for the longest. I mean, you know what I'm saying? This type of conversation has been happening for over 100 years. How long? Over 100 years.
Yeah, over 100 years. When you say lecture started, like,
we're talking during slavery. They were talking about why y'all treating us like this and why y'all don't let us go, and you know what I'm saying? But even directly after slavery, you know what I'm saying, Reconstruction and so forth and so on. This shit been going. You know what I'm saying? They've been talking about this forever. What's the problem? Like, when is enough ever enough? I mean, you guys just are like ruthless. See what I'm saying? So like, we can't figure out why you being so ruthless. It's because they didn't know that God was making it happen this way. You see what I'm saying? They were punished. They were being punished. They ain't realize. See what I'm saying? So once they let them go for a little spell, you know what I'm saying? A few, you know what I'm saying? Transferred slavery into the public sector, and then like they did the fire departments and the police departments and stuff, right? So now you got your time to think about. Now, shouldn't y'all be paying us for for working for free? Shouldn't y'all? I mean, like, they started thinking about it. You know what I'm saying? So that's what's happening now. You know what I'm saying? So it's just a higher consciousness going on.
So here's the thing, like white boys say this right here. The African that come over here, we can give him a grant because we don't know him. The Irish man, not even say Irish because they over here too. The Panamanian, the Cuban, some Russians, we don't know them. Now you, on the other hand, you and DJ Black Charm, we know y'all, and y'all got access to us. Y'all got access to the racist rich white people, and y'all got some access to the non-racist white people. Which one of these white people you want to deal with for your to get you some money? Now both of them don't mind giving you some money, but do you know how to deal with them to get the money up?
Exactly. I mean, it just, you know, that's where respect comes in.
Access, right? And so I hear a lot, and that's what a lot of the black folks saying when I go down to the city hall to say I want this piece of to bid for this land to develop. I know I got access to the city hall, but why can't I? I keep talking. I got access to the city hall, but why can't I get this contract? Why am I always?
What is it? They're here. Yeah. Okay. I need to move something out of the way or something.
Well, they don't need to sweep the floors, mop, and clean the bathroom, right?
Okay. Hold on. Put stuff on the top of your dressing table. All right, gotcha.
Yeah, so the people is like, why can't I get the bid? You know, so when you're talking about bidding for certain properties and stuff like that and having access to these folks, they got to give us the proper respect. Now, I say a lot of times we probably deal with the wrong white people, or we go into that city hall the wrong way. Meaning, like we go into that city hall, and we go in there, you know what I'm saying, like only to pay a water bill or to get a little business license or something. Not really forcing the issue about, you know what I'm saying, not really forcing the issue about really getting equality on funding and stuff.
Mic check. You can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, I didn't let you.
Yeah. So it's like we go down to these places. We can't get the bid. We want to be able to develop certain parts of our neighborhoods and stuff. Like people say, buy the block back. Yeah, that sound good. It sound real good, you know, buy the block back. But here's the thing: the people who own the block ain't trying to sell it to you.
Okay. Now, as far as the hood though, the hood part of the block, I remember when them houses were going for $1. That's what I'm saying. No, didn't nobody go down there and buy none of them. Then when the other people come in,
just start fixing stuff up. Now you want to
buy. Now you mad. It's talking about gentrification. Why didn't you go buy some? No. Huh? What happened? Like it's right there for you. And it was like that for how many years? Was they dirt cheap like that? Yes.
Right. I know what you're saying. Like we've been walking past this abandoned house all our life, through our whole elementary school life, school life, high school life. This house for damn near 15, 16, 17 years. This property been abandoned. Nobody tried to fix it up, do nothing to it.
Nothing. And they just getting sadder and sadder because they see the community look raggedy, but they don't know that downtown, that house, you can buy that house for $5.
Right now. That little regular house you see in the middle of downtown, you buy for $5. And once they develop their neighborhood, your $5 property is now worth $5,000.
Exactly. And I can't trip because I didn't know that until I got into carpentry. You see what I'm saying? When I got into this carpentry stuff, and then I realized that every house looked like that when it's first built, even when it's brand spanking new. It looked terrible like that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That's how that boy Ahmaud Arbery ended. You know what I'm saying?
They're going to look at.
Yeah, going to look at a brand spanky house, fresh off the press. You see what I'm saying? It was tore up from the floor up because that's how they look when they first start. So over time, they start looking like how they was created in the first place. See what I'm saying? But then you come along with your little hammer, a little spackling tool, and scrape some spackle in the corners, and throw some paint on that joker. Throw up some new drywall, and some new, you know what I'm saying? Some new siding on the outside and all this and this, that, and the third. And now you got your brand spanking new looking house.
Right.
For $15. But of course, the materials cost you $5,000.
Right. And this is where the inequality come in at, because you know that most developers claim they go to the city halls to get these loans, to get these grants. You know, and when it comes to us, some of us got the mentality to buy the property. You know, like shit, if I got $10 to go buy that property. I got $1,000 to go buy that property. But you still need to be able to develop it. You fix it up. You know what I'm saying? You can't
You
just
gotta know what you're doing.
They condemn, right? But the funding for it. Now we got to go get some money for it. You know what I'm saying? Is the bank gonna be? Now some folks say the banks aren't prejudiced. I beg to differ, because if they weren't, then a lot of niggas would get those banks to help them get these properties and develop them.
You're absolutely right.
You know?
You're absolutely right, because you know what I'm saying. I ain't been friends with the bank never. Them boys ain't gave me nothing, never. You see what I'm saying? So
and there's a bunch of white people who've been going there since you've been going. Same record, same piece of paper you filled out. You know but they got their shit pulled.
Whole fact. You know what you talking about, brother. You know exactly what you talking about. So yeah, these people better pay attention, because the opportunities are here for us, right? But we just don't know what the hell to do. You understand? We're not. You understand? That's why people be like, "It's education," and then we go, "Oh man, we educated. We already know how to count. Right. We already know how to read." Yeah, but there's a lot of stuff going on that you don't know. And you know what I'm saying? With this, you know what I'm saying? And we just giving just a few examples.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of stuff going on that we don't know. Like, you know what I'm saying? I asked you about some music stuff, and I was like, "What? Do what? Oh, is that easy?" Yeah, because you ain't never know.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Right, and that's how I be feeling about when I look at this new social media thing. Okay, it's 10 years later. Let's say okay, let's say 20 years later, even if we say because MySpace started probably about 2005. Like so let's say 15 years later, you know what I'm saying? So social media is still a new thing for us.
It's a teenager now.
Yeah, this business I'm in is like, okay, how many ways can I skin this chicken? You know what I'm saying? Because I knew before social media existed, I knew rap, songs, write songs, produce beats, record people and stuff like that, right? Now you got social media added on to that thing. Okay, so what's the, you know what I'm saying? What's the new flavor that I can add to this? You know, like, okay, so you into carpentry. Let's talk about your thing. You into carpentry, right? Because we got the internet now, you can make blueprint specs way better than a lot of your competition. You know what I'm saying?
I promise you. And I'm nice with it. I think you seen me doing that live one day.
I did. I just know that's what come with the territory. You know what I'm saying? And the thing about it is, you talking about if you got your blueprint specs up and people that's into not just Anonymous Hebrew, just all the people that's into homes, developing homes, and they start seeing your specs, like, oh shit, I got to hire this man. You know what I'm saying? That's because the internet is on it. You know what I'm saying? Now, granted, claim I know blueprints is niggas' artwork. You know what I'm saying? So you don't want to put them out there. Somebody copy your blueprint and start building homes like your shit. You know what I'm saying? I get that part, but then you know it's like the other part is like, okay, somebody else's home. You designed the blueprint, like this ain't my house. I just added a room on here or whatever, you know. And now niggas like, oh damn, that's how you do blueprints. That's how you add on another room and stuff like that. Or make the room bigger and all that other stuff. But folk even watch this. A lot of decorators don't even know that shit. You know, when I see I see people on TV that do what you do, and they got this TV show. What the hell name this TV show? But anyway, they be trying to fix up. They be fixing up people's houses and stuff.
There's a lot of those.
Yeah, and what they do is they change some
them shows.
They change the flooring, and they may take out one wall. Yeah. I'm like that's good. So that right there is a whole nother game itself. Like I put it like this: that community right there is a whole nother community itself. Like, you probably are you friends with people like that on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram?
But I should be networking with them, shouldn't I?
Yeah.
See, I don't even know that. See, because networking is a very valuable skill, very valuable tool. Because you know what I'm saying, somebody knows something that you don't.
That's why I think these folks hiring these social media managers too. So because they know how to network real good. Yep. And that kind of stuff. See, man, like once you get in that community real good, like you need to be, we probably talk to you every now and again, because one of them people in that community done, you know what I'm saying, done blessed you where you need to, in that direction you need to be in.
Exactly. Yeah. And when you got yourself secure, then you kind of isolate. You kind of limit you limit your ability to offend somebody, so you kind of stay away from many people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so because you don't want to offend nobody, so you know what I'm saying. So, but you know, when you're broke, that's what you got to do. You got to offend people. You understand? So,
ain't nothing wrong with that, because sometimes you step on. Some people feel grateful that you offended them because they needed to see you. They needed to know it was somebody that had the same passion that they got about the particular job. You know what I'm saying? Like, shit, I need to hire this nigga because I know if I'm not able to get to the mark I need to get to, this person right here will pick up the ball and keep it going because they got the same, you know. But you know, and a lot of times where folk are afraid to step on toes because they are afraid of. First of all, they're afraid of the backlash from the yes men that's around. Yes men are too afraid to offend. You know, and a person that don't mind offending, he get a little more. You know, that's a person. I call that taking a risk. You know?
I call it the squeaky wheel get the grease. Cause every single job that I ever had in my life, you know what I'm saying, working for other people, right? I was the one who would do my job perfect, be at the top of the class in every situation, and never complain to the bosses. And you know, we got a culture of not snitching and stuff like that. Yeah. But normal people, white people and black people who act white, right? They complain every day to the boss. You know what I'm saying? And then they be the manager way before you even be considered to be a manager.
Because their attitude is that they know the job more than anybody. They could be piss poor. They could be real bullshit at hanging drywall. But because they so in tune with talking shit about you hanging drywall, being slow, whatever, you know what I'm saying? They
right.
Make the supervisor like, this nigga is suck, you know. This
it's nothing but the truth, man. Nothing but the truth, right? Yeah.
You know, so I say, this is what I always say. I tell my nephew this all the time. I say, you go get a job. And my son, I tell my son this as well. It's one thing to go to the job, go to Walmart, fill out an application to push the buckets. You know what I'm saying? Another thing to go to Walmart to say, well, I'm pushing the bucket, but after a while, I'm finna be managing everything that's walking through here. You
that's
know?
Right.
Like, it's a whole nother kind of mentality. And folk that regular people at Walmart, the cashiers, the stock person, they be like, damn, bucket pusher be walking through here just trying to run everything. Who you think when the supervisor want to take a smoke break, Who you think gonna have
the buggy pusher. The buggy pusher do his job, do the manager job while he going on a smoke break.
Yeah.
Yes, sir, boy.
One day you gonna come in to work, buggy pusher gonna have a manager shirt on. You gonna like, how the fuck he become one of the managers? This nigga was on buggy. I was on stop for 10 years and I never been a manager. That call you ain't forced to issue like buggy pusher. He didn't mind stepping on. He didn't mind offending the other folks because he felt like when I came to this job, I didn't come to here to be on buckets for the whole time. Like you stop this whole time. I wanted to move up. I know Walmart is a career type job. The only person that don't think it's a career type job is a nigga that waking up complaining about going to work.
I was just starting. Look. I just needed a job, and I know how to come up. Right. You understand? So you know what I'm saying. So this buggy, that ain't where it's at. That ain't where it ending at. It can't because I know what the hell I'm doing.
Right.
Yeah.
But I see some people, man, they don't even make it past them. You know what I'm saying? They might make it stop, and I be like, "You still over there in public?" Nah, man, fuck public. Public ain't paying shit. Then you started off, you know what I'm saying, right there, and then you moved up to why you ain't just keep going. Then you in between gigs or whatever. And I don't job shame. But what I do recognize is like when you do have a job, you know what I'm saying, you don't have to just look at it on some slavery type shit. You can look at it on I'm gonna be the boss in a few minutes type stuff. You know what I'm saying? Or even if you don't want to be the boss of nobody, you still say I'm on this. I'm gonna have me a company doing the same thing. I don't want to work for Walmart, so I'm gonna make me enough money so I can buy me a convenience store and I can compete with Walmart a little bit.
That's right.
You know.
That's right.
But the thing we gotta be able to look. We gotta be able to look, and we gotta be able to see ourselves. Like I always say this: if you can see yourself doing it, all you gotta do is work towards it. It ain't up to you to explain to the people the job that you to get to that goal.
So that buggy man, you gotta remember that buggy man smiling the whole time because he know he ain't gonna be in that position for long, and all this mocking you doing to him, he gonna be your boss one day. You feel me? So you gotta remember that now. That's what's going on in his mind. He's like, okay, no problem. Keep on laughing. You know what I'm saying? So that's an important understanding to have that you are the man. You know what I'm saying? You are the boss. You just don't really know yourself yet. Well, most people do though. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? We grew up kind of in a different type of thinking. You know what I mean? Where we understand that we are the boss. We gonna be the boss. It's just our mentality.
Do you think little stuff like snitching stops a person from actually stepping up to be a supervisor? Because you're like, I don't want man work gonna call me a snitch.
Of course.
But you're supposed to be moving up.
Bullshit. And it seemed like to me that was the only way that was moving up. But see, for me personally, I just could not take it there. You understand? So I don't give a damn. You know what I'm saying? I don't want your job. If I got to do it this way, if I got to move up this way, then I'll just create my own job.
But see, here's the deal. Like,
I ain't got to snitch on people.
Like when you're talking about a place like Walmart, or maybe let's say even something bigger than Walmart, a hospital or whatever, and you got nurses stealing medicines and or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
It ain't it like, okay, at the end of the day, it's about who's all on that shift.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Now, the people on that shift is like, okay, well, you was on this shift, even though we ain't expecting you to snitch. You know what I'm saying? We'll at least expect you to tell them not to do that shit around you. You know what I'm saying? And now from that aspect of it, you know, it's like I think that's where the rock and the hard place at when it comes to being a boss or a rat, if you will. You know what I'm saying? To say that if somebody's stealing money out of the cash register while you at Walmart, you on the buckets and you trying to move up, like, nigga, I ain't snitching on you, but don't be doing this shit while I'm on the shit, bro. Nigga, I ain't
there
got time.
you go. There
I'm
you
not
go.
finna get fired for you. You know what I'm saying? I'm on your shift.
And see, now you putting it on them because you putting my job at risk. You see what I'm saying? So now you done spazzed on him, put him in check, and you say you putting my job at risk. So now they the bad guy. See what I'm saying? You ain't got the snitch, so but you making them feeling so bad, like, man, with all that stealing around me. You know what I'm saying? Because if they think I stole anything, I'm gonna beat your ass after work. Or you can say it. Let's do it politically correct. You know what I'm saying? They're not gonna think I stole anything. Basically, is what I'm trying to say. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna let them think I stole anything.
Right. Say no, by no means will they be able to be wanting to question you about anything.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I mean, what they gonna do? Walk around the job and say, "Well, I don't do shit around that nigga." Like, nigga, ain't nobody told on you, nigga. I checked you. And then, I mean, because if a person make a fuss about that, then obviously the word gonna get to the supervisor and the managers that this nigga trying to keep the job secure. You know? So if you trying to keep your job secure, who you think they gonna put on the schedule the most? The guy who want to take out the register and mad you want to say something about it, or you?
That's right, man. Boy, I see why you're a judge now. Yeah, so. Boy, you know exactly what you be talking about. You know that real life talk. But I know you training your nephews just right. Is they meeting any form of success? Got a track record of that?
Well,
I know you don't raise some other people before your nephews came along.
My son is.
Brothers and sisters, younger brothers.
What happened with them is like, okay, so they fathers in their life, so I didn't really step on the toes of that. You know what I'm saying? And I just really let them look at how I operate with my own son. You know what I'm saying? The success of my son is what make them reach out to me and say, I need you. You know what I'm saying? Now, the way I brought them up, being their uncle, is why they know they got somebody to reach out to. You feel what I'm saying? So, but I put it like this: they whole start off was left up to their fathers. You know what I'm saying? Now, along the way to their finishing, you know what I'm saying? Along that route, I've exposed myself as a person that'll run with you and hand you some water. You know what I'm saying? So you can continue your journey. Not only will I hand you some water, I'll show you how to dig a spring. You know what I'm saying? On your journey. You know what I mean? So with that, it's like, not being a father, so you know what I'm saying, and all that stuff, but in another way, being a mentor. You know what I'm saying? Being somewhat of is what a lot of us didn't have. You know what I'm saying? Was that exposure? I didn't have certain exposures to certain knowledge. You know what I'm saying? When I was their age, and now that I have accrued a lot of knowledge, or whatever, via talking to people like yourself, you know what I'm saying? Then I can share it with them. You know what I'm saying? I can ask them what they know about carpentry and blueprints and stuff like that because I've had conversation with you. You know what I'm saying? And I can ask them about it. So with that being said, like success is them looking at how my son is succeeding. So, and now they want to be able to achieve the same.
Exactly. That's what life is about, bro. Just keep it grinding, keep it moving. You know what I'm saying? Don't ever comp. Well, this is an old crew that say don't criticize and don't compromise. You know what I'm saying? So, but you know, I'm not too much with that because you got to judge every situation that you're in to be sure that you're safe and make sure that you're maximizing. You know what I'm saying? The money that's coming in and all types of stuff. See what I'm saying? So that's a part of criticizing. So somebody tell you, "Oh no, man, I'm only gonna give you $10 for this beat here." What you just say? Clarify yourself because it sounds like you said $10, and you know what I'm saying. So you gotta move around then in that type of scenario. So you got to criticize in that regard. But as far as petty criticisms, I wouldn't indulge too much in petty criticisms. You see what I'm saying? So you know what I'm saying? Like there's a lot of people that nitpick on every single word that you speak, like as if you know what I mean, as if that's important for them or
How
something.
long you gonna be live? I gotta do a session. I can get back on.
Well, I'm really all I'm doing is just practicing my little presentation for the Congress. So I'll probably I'm about to get off. Okay. Well, anyway, yeah. So I'm probably be on here probably about another hour.
Okay. Well, I catch you later because I'm about to do that. I gotta do a recording session.
Perfect. Thank you for coming on.
I appreciate you for having me.
All right. Peace. Okay, let's find out the share button here. Yeah, that's all I'm really doing is just practicing this little presentation for Congress, and I'm seeing a lot of errors in my little message that I put up here, but it's all good. I'll fix that sooner or later, as soon as I get around to it. Today is double work day. Tomorrow is the International Day of Rest. So that's how it goes. Today is double work day, so I'm just doing double work. And even though I look like I ain't doing the work, I'm doing the work. Then my uncle came over talking about he want to clean the house. So he hired some what's the word I'm looking for? Some people to clean the house. All right, let's get back to the reading. So the Officer Assistance Coalition is a special assistance with Black respondents. So apparently, as we can see, when white people have extremely contentious interactions with the police, they never get killed. But Black people do. With even though they're trying to be as compliant as they possibly can, they still die. So they need the police officers being extraordinarily in fear of us need a coalition of assisters to accompany them to Black cause because they're damn near they're terrified of us. See what I'm saying? So that's important. Now, this is my favorite as far as police reform. Mandatory officer drug testing. Finally. Except the undercovers, of course, because they have to do drugs in order to arrest drug dealers. All right, so now, Library of Congress gives descendants of slaves and autochthonous Holocaust descendants free lineage research, family research, forever, indefinitely. whether remote or in person. You see, because you go to the Library of Congress right now and look stuff up, you can't look up nothing. You have to be there in person to check the book out with a library card. So that needs to change. So up to $1 million loan to businesses at 3.3% interest. That's what the beneficiaries or the applicants of this Harvest Freedom Act is going to receive. So the petition, what the petition does is makes me the chairman of the bank that will receive these funds. And then we're going to outsource the applications to as many welfare agencies as possible, like the Department of what I'm looking at, the Department of Commerce. They're going to know how to how to utilize their application processes. They're going to know how to do that for themselves. But we're going to have our own application process, which this site is going to convert into the application for reparations, the home of reparations. That's why it's called the home of reparations, because as soon as we get funded, we're going to put a button on here, application on here, and then boom, you're going to be funded if you know what you're doing. So you got to fill out the application correctly, though. See what I'm saying? Because we're going to have to, once we get this family research piece, then they're going to have to look up your family lineage to be sure that you're not Hitler's great grandson. All his children, all his descendants live in the United States. We don't want to pay them. No, we don't. Up to $1 million loan to businesses, 3.3% interest lower. So the United States must lower corporate tax because they are purposely avoiding corporate tax by showing or by spending all of their profit. You see, they spend all their profit, and so they make that debt. So they invest all of their profit, and therefore they don't owe any taxes because it's all invested to grow their companies. That's how Amazon became a $1 trillion company, the first $1 trillion company in history, because they invested every penny of their profit into growing their company. But see, the problem with Amazon, right? Their downline or their distribution chain is severely overwhelmed. See what I'm saying? So with them being overwhelmed that way, that leads to less productivity. See what I'm saying? They think it leads to more productivity because they doggone do like they do in China, where they force people to make a shirt in 6 minutes. So 6 minutes per shirt, they constantly working, bam, 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 6 minutes. And then, you know, somebody's not performing well, 10 minutes and 12 minutes per shirt, and they get fired. And they only get paid 31 cents an hour. You know what I'm saying? So that's really crazy. So that can happen here if we don't be proactive about preventing it from happening. So the way you do that is that you inject fair wages. You inject investment into the Black community that causes other investments. You see, that's just how that works. So a lot of people, a lot of these, government people ain't the brightest people in the butt. You know what I'm saying? They ain't got the brightest bulb. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But when you got a man around, kind of like what's that boy name? That old, he was an old billionaire back in the day that ran for presidency. He had some big old ears. I forget his name, but he was a billionaire, and so he introduced presentations to Congress. Like, it was the first time they had ever seen somebody standing in Congress actually performing a presentation and pointing at charts. Like, they were amazed by that. You know what I'm saying? I think Ross Perot. Nigga, yeah. So that's what I'm trying to say. Like, I mean, these people don't seem to. First of all, in the public's eyes, it looks like you don't got nobody's best interest at heart at all. You see what I'm saying? So they're already mad at you. So when you got somebody coming around telling you these things, it's best for you to pay attention. You know what I'm saying? It's best for Congress to pay attention. I'm trying to tell you, because these things that's being said to you during this particular time of crisis, which it seems to be a crisis in the to the white community, but to us, we done been through this our whole lives. Like, you see what I'm saying? So it's like, what are you going through? We feel like you ain't going through nothing. You know what I'm saying? And we're kind of semi-happy that you feeling similar to how we feel. You feel me? Like, we kind of gloating right now. You know what I mean? But I'm not gonna say they shouldn't do that, but I mean, you kind of shouldn't do that. But I mean, at the same time, what else we gonna do? It's how we've been feeling like this, the same type of discomfort that you feeling right now because you can't because you got to put a mask on. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy. You uncomfortable about that. But we've been feeling uncomfortable forever, for the longest. So, we still ain't used to it at all. And it's like there ain't nothing, like, there's nothing that is can get you to feel empathetic about us. So that's why these young people are tearing this place apart. And so you better stop just indiscriminately murdering people. What are you doing? It's crazy. All right, so now where am I at? All right. Okay, so lower individual tax to 10% with 1% tax income applied to the beneficiary tax payer. Federal legal marijuana. So legalize marijuana federally. So I think it's something more. I think we had something like 46 states have marijuana legalized, which states have sovereignty, and they are separate nations within the nation of the United States. So 46 states have legalized marijuana, so now the federal government needs to do that same thing. And then upon that legalization, they need the immediate stay and release of non-violent drug offenders, because 95% of those non-violent drug offenders are marijuana prisoners that's been in there for 2-3 years for nothing, just for having a pack of a little nick bag of weed in their pocket when they get pulled over by the police. That's insane. That's insane. That's psychopath. That's what psychopaths do. So you know, that little hidden war that you've had against us, everybody done figured it out now. You understand? So the nonviolent drug offenders who are detached from RICO. So they got caught up in a RICO. The nonviolent drug offenders got caught up in a RICO case and were actually, for real, convicted of being attached to the criminal organization. Then we wouldn't take them as seriously. Like Praise Salvation wouldn't take them as seriously. But this particular, let me see if I got the, let me turn the speaker on. Hold on a second here. Turn the speaker on right quick. Share. Turn the speaker on. All right, and then play this.
I think that there has to be a reckoning. I agree with that.
I don't think y'all can hear that because I can't hear it. Let me double check. Let me see. You better think about what you're trying to do to me. How in the world do I got a doggone?
Wake that ass.
Reckoning. I agree with that.
I don't think y'all can.
Wake that ass.
Reckoning. I agree with that.
Hold up, something ain't right here. Okay, so let's see if this it's gonna work right. All right, so I'm gonna play this video. Okay.
America's first drug is free black labor and turning black bodies into profit. And the mass incarceration system mirrors an awful lot of and turning black bodies into profit. And the mass incarceration system.
Okay.
Your
So
analysis
for some reason I can't play that video.
is totally fair. It's historically fair, it's psychologically fair, it's economically fair. But you're going to have to come together as a movement.
All right, you got it.
And say, here's what we want done about it.
Well, like what I'm saying is you what you just said was a form of victim blaming. Right? You were saying what the Black Lives Matter movement needs to do to change white hearts.
That's not what I meant.
No, I'm talking about, look, I don't believe you change hearts. I believe
so
you
they
change
confronted,
laws.
like I said, they confronted Hillary Clinton, and she doggone bossed up on him, and he tilted his head back like, I know you're not bossing up on me. You know what I'm saying? But that was an epic fail for Black Lives Matter. They don't know what they're doing at all. And, you know, it's a grassroots movement that got hijacked by a organization who appeared to me to be CIA. I mean, they were just activated at the time, you know what I'm saying, for the necessary cause of keeping the objectives off focus at all times. So it's what it appears like to me. So now, I could be wrong, you know. I reach out to them all the time, but they don't ever respond. So I don't know what they're doing. Hey, man, it's just what it seems like to me. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. Now, so I'm here. So I think I read everything. Yep, I read everything right there. So this is just kind of like a little test run to see how I'm going to structure the Congress discussions and sentencing. So once again, this is the home of reparations, blackredeem.me. And here you got your Harvest Freedom Act. If you want to sign this, go here, sign this, sign the petition. And then once you sign the petition, that makes Praise Salvation Nation the administrator of reparations in America in order to get it to the applicants incorruptibly, completely incorruptibly. So there are a lot of people, Johnny come lately is coming up. You know what I'm saying? So invited to this is, the old school people that's been talking about this forever. You see what I'm saying? Anybody who's been talking about this forever. Because I'm a Johnny come lately to them. See what I'm saying? But none of them, I ain't seen the organization yet that be talking about reparations that is involved with the Most High, except for the Israelite brother, uncle, Amariel, Hashua Amariel, and his team. And then there's another Israelite brother that talks about it all the time too. So that's only 2 people out of 10 million Israelites. You know what I'm saying? So everybody got to talk at the same time, man. You got to say it at the same time so that everybody can find out about it, and then it becomes a law. And then the 10 million Israelites, they done already detached themselves from the political process, period. But then they done detach themselves, but they still go to the store buy stuff with their money. You ain't created none of your own stuff. How the hell are you gonna detach from something you're already perfectly a part of? It's impossible to detach from that. You got to do everything until you doggone duplicate the system. You got to duplicate it first. And after you duplicate it, then now you can use what you've duplicated. How the hell say, okay, I need my own phone. I need my own phone that I create, that I make out of raw materials from the earth, and then I process and fashion into a phone that actually works on the towers. Okay. Until I do that, I'm going to throw this phone away. For what? How you gonna call somebody? Don't you realize you got to call people? Don't you realize you got to look stuff up? You know what I'm saying? The stuff you don't know nothing about. You got to go to YouTube and look it up. That's where the information's at. Google don't know. Google just knows what's being searched for. See what I'm saying? I wish YouTube had that type of algorithm where it would figure out exactly what you're looking for. You see what I'm saying? Because when you type anything in Google, it'll pop up exactly them words you're talking about. And it'll have millions of results. In YouTube, you type in exact words, it detaches those words and then pops up just any random shit. I need y'all to stop doing that. So I'll catch y'all next time, man. That was a fun combo with the big bro. Later.